Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer 3 video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of looking towards a possible DLC faction, we're actually going to speculate what the pre-order bonus is going to be for Total War Warhammer 3. So without further ado, let's begin. Total War Warhammer 3, as far as we're aware, is still a long way away. But with each passing day, an announcement looms closer and closer. It is more than likely that we'll see the game announced with 4 new playable races as we've seen with the other 2 games, but there's also a 5th race for each game. Total War Warhammer 1 was released with the Empire, the Vampire Counts, the Dwarfs and the Greenskins, but there was already a DLC pack announced that came with the release of this game, which was a pre-order incentive, that of the Warriors of Chaos DLC. The same thing could be said with the second game, where we saw the Skaven, the High Elves, the Dark Elves and the Lizardmen with a pre-order incentive of Norska. With the Norska DLC itself being rather curious that it didn't actually work for Game 2, it was actually for Game 1 where you had the campaign and so on. And it was not available for the Eye of the Vortex campaign, curiously enough. Instead, you only got to play as Norska in Total Warhammer 2 in the Mortal Empires campaign. This was actually very disappointing to myself and many players worldwide, but we're not going to go get into that. That's just something else for a whole different story. But with that being said, now we can look towards the 2 pre-order DLCs for the previous games to more or less determine what the pre-order bonus for Game 3 will be. Firstly, what we can see here is both of the pre-order DLC races feature in the sandbox campaigns, not the narrative ones. Now, I'm talking about this as a playable faction. Norska features in the Eye of the Vortex campaign, but is currently unplayable as of the time recording this video. It is also more than likely that this pre-order race will also feature in the Eye of the Vortex campaign before it is actually released in Total War Warhammer 3. This race will also feature in the Mortal Empires campaign, considering the fact that obviously it's a mixture of both games. However, it should be a definite that it has to fit in the Eye of the Vortex campaign, seeing as it's going to be linked with Game 2 and 3, and not everyone actually has Game 1 and 2 together, so it would be an extremely bad business decision to only feature this race in the Mortal Empires, given the fact that you need both games to actually play Mortal Empires. So now let's look towards the map of the Eye of the Vortex campaign, and let's try and speculate which race will actually be the pre-order incentive. So we're here with the map open now, and there's a lot of different races already littering the map. There's still a few races that haven't even been added in yet, like the Amazons and so on, but I don't believe that those will be the actual playable factions, mainly because whatever the map becomes in Total War Warhammer 3 would have to have some sort of lore reason why the race from the second game is actually in the third game. For example, the reason they must have picked Norska was because it features in both maps. In Game 1 we actually have the whole section of Norska, whereas in Game 2 we have a large section of the Chaos Waste up to the front, and also a little bit of Norska on the side, including Albion. So with this knowledge we can make an educated guess. Total War Warhammer 3's main narrative campaign will have a little bit of a portion of this map, either the top right or the bottom right, which means, unfortunately, we will not see the Amazons. The reason I'm saying this is because it's more than likely it's going to feature in the far east or in the far north. So if it's featured in the far east, we'll more than likely get a little bit of the Southlands, or if it's featured in the far north, we'll get more of Norska, or maybe some of the Darklands. So with that, what races actually occupy these territories? First, we'll look towards the Southlands. Unfortunately, there's only one race, and we've actually had them shoot it down already. Araby. The Desert Dwellers of Araby are actually a big fan favorite at the moment, but they've already been shot down by the development team. That being said, they could have literally just told us that to just throw us off, and we could end up getting Araby as a playable faction. Araby is one of those races that never really had an army book similar to Norska, so they could pretty much build that up from the ground up with Games Workshop. But if we look towards the north, there is one striking thing that is featured in both Total War Warhammer 1, not playable, and Total War Warhammer 2, playable in the Eye of the Vortex campaign should you take over the territories, and recently made playable in the Mortal Empires campaign, Albion. Albion itself also didn't have an official army book. Instead, I believe in 6th edition they had a campaign pack which introduced some units native to the area, such as the Truthsayers, the Darksayers, and the Fenbeasts. There's not really a lot of units, but they do have a lot of lore revolving around natives and giants and so on. They're not a good faction, but they're not really a bad one either. The people of Albion can be really considered very morally grey. But with that we can look towards one more faction. Those are the Dogs of War, mainly because there are many free cities across the Warhammer world, full of mercenaries and the like, which actually fits their description. We have the New World colonies right now, which actually is in Lustria, but they can pretty much settle anywhere. In all honesty, these are my 3 top contenders for the pre-ordered bonus DLC, as these look like the strongest contenders. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a little bit of a discussion, shall we? But with that, my friends, we come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description below, we have various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team and talk to us about all things Warhammer related. Video games, tabletop, lore, anything really. We enjoy talking about Warhammer in general. Also in the description link below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Using that special link and also using this special code that we have in the description supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel grow and produce high levels of content. A special thank you to our patron Gibraltar LUSC for subscribing to us in our Fane level. Honestly, mate, you're super cool. And a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on the videos. It's amazing to see the channel growing so much recently. Honestly, we don't understand why it's actually happening, but it's super cool to be able to talk to so many Warhammer fans across the world. Honestly, I cannot thank you guys enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.